For multiplying and dividing, we need to keep track of the same things. We need to still factor. So in this case here, we're going to factor this expression. So we end up with x minus 4 over x plus 5, x minus 2, divided by, factor the common factor of x squared minus 2x minus 8. And here again, factor out the common factor, and we end up with x plus 5. So when we have division, we just have to be a little bit extra careful because here we have divide, so any of these factors being 0 would be a problem. Here we're dividing, so any of these factors being 0 would be a problem. But we also have a divide by this here. So we have to make sure that we state restrictions for all three spots. So I'm going to just keep track of that and finish my factoring. But I'm also going to convert it to multiplication because that's our strategy for dividing by fractions. We multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, so again, we need to make sure that our restrictions are observed here, here, and here. Okay, all those spots need to observe restrictions. So x is not equal to -5, +2, 0, and it looks like we also have a +4 here. Okay, I think I've got all the restrictions. Oh, we have a -2 here as well. Okay, so I have a -2 that I missed. Okay, so I have 4 restrictions, or 5 restrictions there. Okay, and just double checking my factoring, yeah, that's going to be plus minus, and we have a +2, -4. Okay, so once I've stated my restrictions, I can now start canceling out common factors. So there is a +5, +5, -4, -4, an x and an x. Again, it's starting to get a little bit messy, so I'm just going to simplify this. So I'm left with an x squared, and I have an x minus 2 and an x plus 2. And it looks like that's it. So it looks like that's my final factored form. So again, we want to make sure that we observe our restrictions. These are two variables. We have things in two variables, so we have to worry about restrictions on x and restrictions on y, and sometimes we have restrictions x in terms of y. So here it looks like it's all in factored form, so I'm just going to start with my restrictions. I'm going to start with my x's. So x cannot equal -2, 0, -3. Okay, so there's my restriction here, here, and here. I don't need to worry about the numerator. Okay, we're not dividing by zeros, so we don't have to worry about the numerator. And I'm going to state my restrictions for y. Y is not equal to just 0. We only have the 1 0, the 1 y in the denominator. So once I've stated restrictions, I'm just looking for factored form. Okay, I still need to factor this expression here. This is still factorable. But I can start canceling out factors because remember with fractions, everything's just either times or divide. If it's connected by multiplication, the top is times, the bottom is divide. Doesn't matter where on the numerator it is. It's just one, really just one big fraction. Okay? So I'm going to simplify a couple things before I factor that. So I have a +3 here. Looks like I have an x that I can cancel here and here. And you know, I could cancel maybe the y as well. But again, once I start getting a little bit more complicated, I'm going to just write down my factor pieces that are left over. That 21 I'm going to change into 7 times 3. I've got an x, okay, and I also have a times 2 and x plus 2. So I factored the 2x plus 4. Okay, so keeping track of that, so now I have a 3 here, x plus 2. Okay, it looks like that's going to cancel. And again, everything is connected by multiplication, so all these pieces represent factors. And it looks like everything else is canceled out so far on the top. So there's my factors. I'm going to start with my binomial factors here. So x plus 2 times 3 times 3. It looks like we have 4 and 4. So it looks like I've canceled everything in the denominator out. So I'm left with 7x, x minus 2, and if you want, and when everything's canceled out by times or divide, we can leave a 1, but really we don't need that 1. Okay, so there it is.